July 4, 1934, a sanatorium in the French Alps. Marie Curie is dying. Her hands are covered in radiation burns that never heal. Her vision is failing. Her blood cells are destroying themselves from the inside. She's 66 years old, the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the only person ever to win Nobel Prizes in two different sciences, the woman who discovered radioactivity and changed medicine forever. And she's being killed by her own discovery. 60 years later, scientists try to study her research notebooks. They can't. The notebooks are still so radioactive they have to be stored in lead-lined boxes. Anyone who wants to read them must wear protective gear and sign a liability waiver. Marie Curie's work still glows in the dark, still kills, still saves lives. How does a poor Polish girl who wasn't allowed to attend university become the most important scientist of her generation? How does she break every barrier science put in front of women? And how does her greatest discovery become the thing that kills her? This is the complete story of Marie Curie, genius, barrier breaker, scandal survivor, war hero, and the woman who sacrificed everything, including her life, for science. November 7, 1867. Maria Skłodowska is born in Warsaw, Poland. But Poland doesn't exist, not officially. Russia, Prussia, and Austria have divided it among themselves. Speaking Polish is illegal. Teaching Polish history is forbidden. Warsaw is under Russian occupation. Maria's father is a teacher. Her mother runs a boarding school. They're educated, but they're poor. And they're Polish in a country that's trying to erase Poland from existence. Maria is brilliant, photographic memory, top of her class in every subject. At 15, she graduates first in her high school class with a gold medal. She wants to attend university, study science, become a researcher. There's just one problem. Women aren't allowed to attend university in Poland, or Russia, or most of Europe. The University of Warsaw has a sign on its door that might as well say, "No women allowed." Maria watches her brother go to university. She tutors other students to earn money. She attends illegal flying university classes, secret education sessions for women held in moving locations so police can't raid them. For 6 years, she works as a governess to rich families. She saves every spare coin. She's waiting, planning. At 24 years old, in 1891, Maria has finally saved enough money. She leaves Poland, heads to Paris, the Sorbonne, one of the few universities in Europe that allows women. She arrives in Paris with almost nothing, rents a tiny attic room so cold that water freezes in the basin at night. She wraps herself in all her clothes to sleep. Some nights she faints from hunger because she's spending money on books instead of food. But she's in heaven. For the first time in her life, she can study physics and mathematics, really study, at a real university. Her professors notice her immediately. This intense Polish woman in the back of the class, taking notes frantically, asking the hardest questions. In 1893, Maria, now going by the French version Marie, earns her degree in physics, first in her class. In 1894, she earns a second degree in mathematics, second in her class. She's trying to find laboratory space to do research. That's when someone introduces her to a young French physicist named Pierre Curie. Pierre is 35, 8 years older than Marie. He's already famous for his work on magnetism and crystals. He's brilliant, shy, obsessed with science. They meet to discuss laboratory space. They end up discussing physics for hours, then days, then weeks. Pierre later writes, "It would be a beautiful thing to pass through life together, devoted to our dreams. Your dream for your country, my dream for humanity, our dream for science." In 1895, Marie Skłodowska marries Pierre Curie. She becomes Marie Curie. It's not just a marriage. It's a scientific partnership that will change the world. 1896. A French physicist named Henri Becquerel discovers something strange. Uranium gives off mysterious rays that can pass through paper and expose photographic plates. Nobody knows what these rays are. Most scientists think it's a curiosity, nothing more. Marie Curie thinks it's the most important thing in the world. For her doctoral research, Marie decides to study these mysterious rays. She sets up equipment in a cold, damp storage room at the School of Physics. It's not really a laboratory, it's barely a shed. In winter, the temperature inside is only a few degrees above freezing. She starts testing every element she can find. Does it give off these mysterious rays? Most don't, but uranium does, and so does thorium. Then she tests a mineral called pitchblende, uranium ore. She expects it to give off rays because it contains uranium. But the rays from pitchblende are 4 times stronger than pure uranium. That's impossible, unless there's something else in the pitchblende, something even more powerful than uranium, an element nobody has discovered yet. Marie coins a term for this phenomenon, radioactivity. Pierre sees what she's found. He abandons his own research to join her. Together, they start processing tons of pitchblende, literally tons, trying to isolate this mysterious element. It's backbreaking work. Marie stirs giant vats of boiling ore with an iron rod as tall as herself. The fumes make her sick. Her hands are constantly burned and blistered. They work in their freezing shed for hours every day. In 1898, they announce the discovery of a new element. Marie names it polonium, after her beloved Poland. 4 months later, they discover another element. This one is even more radioactive. It glows in the dark with an eerie blue-green light. They call it radium. This is innovation number 1, the discovery of radioactivity and radioactive elements. It will revolutionize physics, chemistry, and medicine. Marie and Pierre become minor celebrities in the scientific world, but they're still poor. They can't afford to patent their discoveries or the process to extract radium. They publish everything freely so other scientists can use it. Pierre writes, "Radium is not to enrich anyone. Radium belongs to the people." Years later, this decision will mean they die in relative poverty, while others make fortunes from their discoveries. But in 1903, their work is finally recognized. The Nobel Committee announces the winners of the Nobel Prize in Physics, Henry Becquerel for discovering radioactivity, and Pierre Curie for his research on radiation. Wait, Pierre Curie. Marie's name isn't mentioned. The committee has decided to give the prize to the 2 men, not the woman who actually discovered polonium and radium. Pierre Curie is furious. He writes to the Nobel Committee threatening to refuse the prize unless Marie is included. Behind the scenes, a Swedish mathematician named Magnus Gösta Mittag-Leffler lobbies for Marie. He argues that excluding her would be a scientific scandal. The committee caves. They add Marie's name to the award. December 10, 1903, Marie Curie becomes the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize. She shares it with Pierre and Becquerel, but she's there, recognized, vindicated. The press doesn't know what to do with her. Newspapers describe her appearance, her clothes, her marriage more than her science. They call her Pierre Curie's wife, or the pretty Polish woman who helps her husband. When the Curies return to Paris, the University of Paris finally gives Pierre a professorship. They give Marie nothing. She can work in Pierre's lab as his assistant. In 1904, Marie gives birth to their second daughter, Eve. Their first daughter, Iron, is 7 years old. The family is happy. Marie and Pierre are both doing groundbreaking research. They're together. They're poor but respected. Marie applies for membership in the French Academy of Sciences. She's one of the most accomplished scientists in France. She's a Nobel Prize winner. The Academy votes. The result, she's rejected. The Academy doesn't admit women. It won't admit a woman for another 60 years. Still, Marie continues her research. She's working with radium daily now. She loves how it glows in the dark. Sometimes she and Pierre keep samples in their bedroom just to watch the beautiful blue-green light. Pierre's health is declining. He's exhausted all the time. His hands shake. He's in constant pain. Marie isn't feeling well either. Her fingertips are cracked and bleeding, burns that won't heal. She's tired constantly. They don't realize what's happening. They don't know that radiation is slowly destroying their bodies from the inside. April 19, 1906, Paris, a rainy spring day. Pierre Curie is crossing the Rue Dauphine. He's distracted, lost in thought. He steps into the street. A horse-drawn wagon is coming, heavy, moving fast on the wet cobblestones. Pierre sees it too late. He tries to dodge, slips on the wet street. falls directly under the wagon's wheels. Marie Curie is 38 years old, a widow, with 2 young daughters. The man she loved, her scientific partner, her best friend, gone in an instant. She writes in her diary, "They filled the coffin and put flowers on it. They closed it and I could see nothing more. They say we should not close ourselves up in silence. They say this is wrong. We should stay active and work. I will never believe that." But she does work, because it's all she has left. The University of Paris offers her peers professorship. She becomes the first female professor in the university's 650-year history. Her first lecture is packed. Hundreds of people crowd into the hall. They want to see the widowed woman professor, the curiosity, the scandal. Marie walks to the podium, opens Pierre's last lecture notes, and begins exactly where he left off, mid-sentence, as if he'd never stopped. She will continue his work, and hers alone now. 1910, 4 years after Pierre's death. Marie is working harder than ever, isolating pure radium, measuring its properties precisely. She's preparing for her doctoral defense and hopping for another Nobel Prize. Then she meets Paul Langevin. Langevin is a physicist, brilliant, a former student of Pierre's. He's married but unhappily. His wife is reportedly violent and abusive. Marie and Langevin become close, too close. In 1911, Langevin's wife discovers love letters between Marie and Paul. She sells them to the newspapers. The press explodes. Headlines scream, "Homewrecker, foreign woman destroys French family, the scandalous widow." Never mind that Langevin's marriage was already destroyed. Never mind that his wife was abusive. Never mind Marie's scientific achievements. She's a woman, a widow, she's supposed to mourn forever, and she's Polish, a foreigner. The press is vicious. Crowds gather outside her house, throwing rocks, screaming insults. Her daughters have to be sent away for safety. Scientists who praised her work now distance themselves. The French Academy, which already rejected her once, uses the scandal to justify it. Some colleagues tell her to leave France, go back to Poland, disappear. Marie refuses. She's done nothing wrong. She won't be chased away. Then, in November 1911, in the middle of the scandal, a telegram arrives from Sweden. Marie Curie has won the Nobel Prize in chemistry for isolating pure radium and measuring its atomic weight. She's the only person ever to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences, physics and chemistry. The Nobel Committee asks her not to attend the ceremony because of the scandal. They suggest it would be inappropriate. Marie writes back, "The prize has been awarded for the discovery of radium and polonium. I believe there is no connection between my scientific work and the facts of my private life." She goes to Stockholm. She accepts her second Nobel Prize. The scandal eventually fades. Langevin returns to his wife. Marie continues her work. But the damage is done. The woman who changed science has been publicly humiliated for daring to have a private life. August 1914, World War I begins. France mobilizes for war. Marie Curie is 47 years old. She could stay safe in her laboratory. Instead, she invents something that will save thousands of lives. X-rays have been discovered, but X-ray machines are huge, stationary, in hospitals. Wounded soldiers are dying on battlefields because doctors can't see bullets and shrapnel inside their bodies. Marie has an idea: mobile X-ray units. She designs vehicles equipped with X-ray equipment and portable generators. She calls them petites Curies, little Curies. She learns to drive, gets herself to the front lines, sets up X-ray units in field hospitals. She trains 150 women to operate the equipment, teaches doctors how to use X-rays to locate bullets, shrapnel, broken bones. Over 4 years, her petites Curies perform over 1 million X-ray examinations. They save countless lives. Marie is exposed to massive amounts of radiation during the war. No protection, no understanding of the danger. After the war, Marie is celebrated as a hero. The Radium Institute is built in Paris with Marie as director. She finally has a proper laboratory. Her daughter Iron follows her into science. Iron will eventually win her own Nobel Prize in chemistry in 1935. Marie continues researching radioactivity. She's tired all the time now. Her hands shake. She's going blind. Constant fevers and illness. Doctors say it's from overwork, from the war, from age. They're wrong, it's radiation poisoning, and it's killing her. By the 1920s, Marie Curie's health is collapsing. Her fingertips are scarred and burned beyond recognition. Burns that never heal, constantly reopening. She's nearly blind, cataracts from radiation exposure. She has chronic anemia. Her blood doesn't produce enough cells. She's exhausted constantly. Fevers come and go. Doctors don't understand what's wrong. They suggest rest, climate change, less work. Marie knows better. She writes in a letter, "Sometimes my strength abandons me entirely. I cannot continue my work without a sentiment of intense fatigue." She suspects the radium, but she spent 35 years working with it. The damage is done. Marie Curie carried test tubes of radium in her pockets. The radiation was so strong it glowed through the fabric of her clothing. She stored radioactive samples in her desk drawer, opened them to admire the beautiful glow. She had no idea, nobody did. Radiation was mysterious, powerful, and they thought it was harmless. Some people even thought it was healthy. By the 1930s, other scientists are starting to understand. Radiation is dangerous, deadly. Workers in radium factories, mostly young women painting watch dials with radium paint, are dying. Their jaws are rotting. Their bones are disintegrating. They're called the Radium Girls. Their suffering finally proves what Marie suspected: radium is poison. But for Marie, it's too late. July 4, 1934, a sanatorium in Saint-Célim's French Alps. Marie Curie dies. She's 66 years old. The official cause of death: aplastic anemia. Her bone marrow has been destroyed by radiation exposure. Her body can no longer produce blood cells. Her daughter Eve writes, "She had been herself to the end, crying out against the pain of the disease, holding tight to life even as it left her." Marie Curie is buried next to Pier in Sceaux, just outside Paris. For 60 years, she remains there. Then, in 1995, the French government does something unprecedented. They move Marie and Pierre Curie to the Pantheon, the highest honor France can give its heroes. Marie becomes the first woman buried in the Pantheon on her own merits, not as someone's wife or daughter, as herself. So what did Marie Curie change? 5 fundamental things. 1. Cancer treatment. Radiation therapy kills cancer cells. Her discovery saves millions of lives every year. 2. Medical imaging. X-rays and radiation-based imaging techniques diagnose diseases. Her wartime work pioneered this. 3. Nuclear physics. Her research laid the groundwork for understanding atomic structure, nuclear energy, and quantum mechanics. 4. Women in science. She proved women could not only do science, they could lead it, change it, win Nobel Prizes for it. 5. The periodic table. Polonium and radium. 2 new elements that expanded human knowledge of matter itself. But here's the deepest truth about Marie Curie. Her discovery killed her. Radiation destroyed her body from the inside. She spent her last years in pain, going blind, dying slowly from her own work. And she knew, by the end, she knew the radium was killing her. But she never stopped working, never stopped researching, never regretted the discovery. Because that same radiation that killed her has saved millions. Cancer treatments, medical imaging, all built on her sacrifice. Marie Curie's notebooks are still radioactive. They'll remain radioactive for 1,500 years. Her legacy will last longer. The woman who wasn't allowed to attend university became the only person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different sciences. The woman who was almost denied her first Nobel Prize died as one of the most important scientists in human history. She broke every barrier, she paid the ultimate price, and she changed the world forever. Thanks for watching.